for you about somebody who is probably in a serious relationship, likely engaged. Could even be that they just got married, but we have the forever and ever marriage or long-term commitment card, as well as ashamed, embarrassed about past behavior. So we have someone who knows that they're about to get married or that they just recently married someone who doesn't necessarily know the truth about what has happened in their past, and they're nervous about this coming out at an inconvenient time or in a way that makes it seem like this relationship never should have really happened in the first place. So let's call in spirit with a little bit of wind chime time. I hope you're having a wonderful day so far. If you're interested in a personal reading, I would love to do one for you. My email address is wickedwandstarot@gmail.com. It's in the description box, as is more information on how to become a member and also how to find my soy candles on Etsy. Hello, Rachel. Hello, April. Hello, Erin. How are we doing? Let me get comfortable here. Okay. What do we want to start with? We're going to go with the noisy tarot. Hello, CJ. How are you doing? Hello, Andrew. What's up? All right. What else do we have? The Five of Cups. This is upset or regret because of things that happened in the past. King of Cups in the reverse. Four of Swords in reverse. Worried about something that was left kind of mismanaged or unfinished. Feeling upset or embarrassed. We did have the Ashamed card because this could cause a problem in this relationship. So why the Four of Swords in the reverse? Something that still causes problems. This could be a family issue or somebody's ex. With the Ten of Cups and the Fool in the reverse, this is like, I wish that, I had seen what that problem was earlier, but I didn't. Three of Cups in the reverse. Queen of Cups in the reverse. Okay, so this feels to me like we've got somebody who's concerned about you meeting the family. Like maybe you two have very similar beliefs. Maybe you two approach life in, a very cohesive way. But there might be some religious or ideological differences where when you meet this person's family, you might be kind of like second guessing the relationship. Okay. What else? So it's like, when you get to know me, everything's fine, but then I have to also show you like where I came from or who I'm related to. And then it's like, please don't feel like that's me, Hello, Michael, how are you doing? Hello, James. Hello, Rick. What's going on? Hello, Carrie. How are you doing? So we've got the Ace of Pentacles in the reverse and the Five of Wands. Yeah, this feels to me like you might argue with, my brothers, my sisters. You might not like my parents, or they might not like you. They may judge you as far as what they expected for my partner to look like or be like or think. This is like, I just want to make sure that there is some sort of peaceful situation where you're able to meet each other, but I'm pretty paranoid that there's going to be some sort of argument that breaks out, or that there's going to be something they do to try to embarrass me. Like, oh, this is like who your future spouse dated when they were in 6th grade, or here they are, doing something embarrassing. I think this is probably more so about whether or not you all would get along, but they might just be kind of cantankerous, We've got the Knight of Pentacles, the Nine of Pentacles, and the Wheel of Fortune. So I don't want you to change your mind after we take this little trip and I introduce you to my family. I want you to decide whether or not to get married to me based on who I am as an individual. But there is this concern with the Nine of Pentacles as well, that you're going to decide, okay, well, now that I've met your family, I don't think I'm really interested in hitching my wagon to that, right? All right, so this is the Masonic Tarot. Oh, hello, Baker. How are you doing? Thank you for the tip. Will I ever find true love and be married to them? All right. I have added that for you. Thank you, Baker. In case my suspicions are true and you cannot see how far we are in a live stream, it is just under 6 minutes. So probably around 28 minutes, 27 minutes from now. Hello, Erin. How are you doing? I'm not sure if you were asking other folks. And that would be a pretty difficult question for me to answer. It's easier to say what I don't listen to. I don't listen to a lot of country unless it's Marty Robbins, Patsy Cline, or Johnny Cash. Some exceptions, right? But pretty much everything else. Hello, Steven. How are you doing? Ooh, hello, April. How's your day? We have the King of Cups in the reverse and the Queen of Swords in the reverse. Well, it's kind of seeming like we got parents that aren't very amenable to the relationship. This could be the same person, though. Someone who is moody and doesn't manage their own emotions. Therefore, they take out that not so great mood on other people. Plus, we have the Empress card, which is, generally a reference to a mother. Nine of Pentacles in the reverse. So we could have a codependent relationship, or we could have a codependent parent with their adult child, right? So we could have some meddling, we could have a lot of judgments, we could have a lot of, if you're visiting us or if you're staying under this roof, we have a whole bunch of rules. No pooping after 10. I don't know where I came up with that one, but I do feel like this is like, they're going to be unreasonable. They're going to make some strange comments, or like, it's going to be 80 degrees in their place because they like it hot. And you're going to be like, I'm dying here. There's something weird. And they're like, you're going to meet my family, and it may just like ruin it for you. The Moon, the Queen of Pentacles, and the Page of Pentacles, or the Knave of Mallets, which is a far more interesting way to say it, I suppose. In the Masonic Tarot, the mallets are associated with earth energy, so that would be like pentacles. And this is saying that we've got somebody here who's thinking about building a future with this person. I want to be in your life, but I'm nervous that when you figure out who I'm associated with or who I'm related to, that you're going to be like, you mean I have to deal with them forever? Forever, ever? I don't know about that. So, hashtag concern. Just a little bit worried, right? Page of Swords in the reverse. Like one little thing said the wrong way. 8 of gold or 8 of wands. And then, it'll just start this whole conversation and I won't be able to like rein it back in. So we have this concern over how can I make sure that I control the direction of the conversation away from things that I don't want them to talk about, or to avoid some sort of argument. And will I actually be able to like manage that, right? Oh no. Oh, you definitely have patience. Don't you worry. It might be weather related. I know it's kind of crazy out here, and there has been some power outages, thankfully not here. So we've got the 7 of Swords in the reverse after the 9 of Cups in the reverse. I know that, my family isn't easy to deal with, is basically this person's assertion, and I know that it might get a little bit weird, or you might not agree with them on certain things, or, they may say this or insult your favorite sports team. But I hope you know that I'm going to do whatever I can to make it comfortable for you, and I will just remind you that I love you. That's what it feels like this conversation is. Like, I got to give you a heads up. It's going to be a little bit weird, and here's why. But just remember that I will, you know, stick up for you. like, I will try to make this as painless as possible. I swear. Just, like, don't run away. Yeah, I hope that's true here, too. I don't know, I was thinking of that movie, Meet the Parents. And I feel like whenever you have that situation, there's likely something strange, right? And I also remember that my grandparents kept it stupid hot in their house. So that was the other example. Hello, Steven. How are you doing? We've got the Sun in the reverse, the Seven of Pentacles in the reverse, and the King of Pentacles. Perhaps this is even a bit of, you know, you might have some expertise or you might have some opinions. You might actually like read up on certain things and find that, you know, one or both of my parents disagree with you. Just like, don't get into it. Like, don't tell them they're wrong because they're not going to listen to you. There's something here where it's like, I've got to lay the foundation for you so you understand what you're walking into. Because for me to be able to manage things and keep it from escalating into an argument, like, you kind of need to know what to look out for. Like, don't step in that pile of dog poo, right? We've got the Page of Swords and the Four of Wands in the reverse. I feel like at a certain point, this partner for the Queen of Pentacles is like, hey, so what if we just like get a hotel? What if we like stay somewhere else? Or, you know, is it really gonna be that difficult? And I feel like it is a little intimidating, but I think they also are looking at it as it's worth it, you know? Maybe it'll be a little bit weird. Maybe I'll have to like kind of not respond to certain things, but that's okay. I think we have somebody who's feeling thankful that they've been communicated basically what to expect, right? But also someone who's saying like, I got this. This won't be that bad. Don't worry. Hello, Marit. How are you doing? So we have the King of Wands and the Five of Wands in the reverse. Yeah, I feel like this is a good conversation, even if it's a little bit awkward for this Queen of Pentacles. It looks like their partner is saying, okay, thank you for the heads up. I will be on guard. I will be cautious as far as what I say, and I'm not going to like try to belabor any points or try to teach anyone any lessons. The main point is I'm just trying to like meet your family. If we have differences, that's okay, but we don't need to like dwell on them, right? We don't need to get all like roll up the sleeves and fight about it. What else? Yes, agree to disagree. Hello, Erin. How's it going? So we've got the Page of Pentacles in the reverse, the Six of Pentacles, and the World in the reverse. I do think that there's a mention of, you know, maybe these are people who don't get out very much, or maybe these are folks that really just have opinions or beliefs that have been taught to them or reinforced in a small town. There's something here about implying that there hasn't really been a lot of outside perspective, but that if you show respect or if you hold back, then they won't really engage either. So I do think it's just here's some topics to avoid. Don't get like super into the weeds on the details because it might get a little bit contentious, right? Hey James, how you doing? Thank you. Do they think my humor is a bit too much? Hey, I've been there. And if that's true, then, you know, maybe they just can't handle it, right? Is a bit too much. All right, I've added that for you. Thank you, James. Hello, Jimmy. How are you doing? I believe they're green, but there's like a little like hazel patch too. What else do we have? Queen of Wands and the Tower. Yeah, so I know that there's a possibility for an argument, so I'm going to have this communication or this conversation with you in advance of that so that you know what to look out for, or you know, hey, let's just like not talk about, I don't know, religion. Let's not talk about my ex, you know, that kind of thing. And then we'll be fine. Everything will be fine if we just avoid that. which may be kind of like wishful thinking, right? This is the Love Oracle. Let's see what else we've got. Likewise. Hello, Key. What's going on? How's your day? We've got releasing, letting go, moving on, walking away, and commitment. Marriage, promises, fidelity. We could have somebody who's saying, basically, I'm going to introduce you to my family, and I do feel like they deserve to see who I'm interested in getting married to. But at the same time, I'm a little bit nervous that you are going to decide that you don't want to get involved with me because of the family members that I have. If there is something that gets too negative, I think that we do have a Queen of Pentacles saying, you know, there have been times where I've thought about being no contact or low contact. So I think this is kind of like here's the bare bones of how this family has operated, or, you know, how it's impacted how I've grown up. And I think there's this, you know what, I'm not going to blame you for who your family is, especially if there's an attempt to communicate about it, and if there is a need to go no contact, you're willing to do that. But it seems like this is someone who also values those connections, even if they've been difficult. So they've been not really 100% certain that they wanted to introduce these folks, but because we have, I think, a marriage coming up or a wedding day coming up, there's been increased pressure to finally meet each other. And it's like, yeah, I don't want you to feel like I am just like my family. Maybe this is someone who feels like they're a little bit of an outlier or a black sheep. Yeah, I wonder how many people are in that situation, April. Because I'm not interested in driving anywhere out there. So we have realizations and open heart, epiphanies, understandings, awakenings, receptive, empathy, and vulnerable. Where this Queen of Pentacles might expect to be rejected or even fear they would be abandoned and broken up with. Instead, they find that the person they're about to marry is very understanding, very patient, and wants to approach this as a team. You know, like, you let me know what works best, and I want to be supportive of you when we go through this. I'm not looking to cause any stress. I'm not looking to start any arguments with your family, and you've given me a heads up so I know what the trigger topics are, right? So I can avoid that. We have shallow, hollow, empty, and boredom. So I do think that in particular, this Queen of Pentacles is talking about a family member that is quite shallow. Someone who maybe only respects people if they have wealth or a certain degree of education, or you're from this place or not that place. But this is talking about family. You're going to meet the family and they might come across as really judgy, or they might say that your accent is difficult, or they might ask you, you know, why did you choose that profession? That's kind of strange, right? And I feel like this Queen of Pentacles is just saying, don't let them ruffle your feathers. Some people are just irritable. And even though it's important for us to have this new beginning for you to meet the family, there's also a chance that I might be blocking this person or going no contact with this family member. So this kind of feels like here's all of what's going on with regards to the family. And please don't let that impact our relationship. So, all right, let's get a few from the Earth and Bones Oracle. I think it's cold everywhere right now. All right, what else do we have? Ascension, 34, transformation, end of cycle, beginnings, change, metamorphosis. I think we have someone who is engaged to this Queen of Pentacles who looks at this as just more of the puzzle. Like, what was it that made you who you are, and what was it that made you the person that I would fall in love with? So I feel like this is a very positive, supportive response to this person's concern over introducing their family. It's like, yeah, but you were able to overcome that, or look at how you've, changed this behavior, or you didn't fall into this pattern. I feel like this is someone who's just looking at it as that makes you all the more special because you wanted to make sure that you approach things differently. You were taught to see things a particular way, or maybe you were raised in a very negative environment, and yet here you are appreciating the little things in life or being, you know, a delightful person. Shadow, number 37, wholeness, integration, repressed emotions, and mystery. There have been some, you know, difficult times for this Queen of Pentacles where they had to acknowledge that it was time to deal with some emotions or some things that they'd kind of put on the back burner. But it does look to me that this kind of stressful family situation helped them to work on their communication. It's kind of like a, if you can't be an example, at least be a warning. So this person's family kind of taught them what not to do in a relationship because they never really felt heard or respected when dealing with maybe this specific parental family member, but it could also be like a sibling or just a general energy with the family. Thank you, Erin. So we also have apprentice, which is number 4. Higher education, knowledge, beliefs, and wisdom. So for some of you, this could be that you were the first in your family to get, higher education. It could be that you just decided to take a different path. Maybe you didn't want to be involved in the family business, or you were the only one that wanted to move out of the town that you all lived in. But there is something here where you were willing to do something that was different from what everybody else did. It set you apart, and it also, I feel like, kind of created some of the division between you and your family, or it made it more pronounced. Because, I don't know, I do kind of think that there are some folks here that liked to kind of poke fun at you or make you feel like you were different in a bad way. And having this relationship, it helps you to feel validated that the folks that have been not so nice to you and your family, maybe they just need to like find a hobby. It's the nicest way I can say it. All right, so we have a man holding a heart and thinking woman. Now let's just like remove the genders for a moment and realize that this is someone who's trying to be considerate because they love the person that they are walking into the wolf's den, right? Like, here, meet my family, they're awful, but like it's a necessary part. Or, you know, this particular person's gonna be kind of tough, but hey, at least my like Aunt Susie's real cool, you know? There's something here where it's like, I'm just giving you a heads up on what to expect. This person's maybe a little bit difficult, but we can make it through together. And I do feel like there is a knowledge or an appreciation that this relationship is going to be much more serious, like the engagement, like I said. Maybe it's as simple as you're moving in together, but introducing the family is a little bit daunting for this person because it's like, I just don't feel like I am like my family, and therefore I don't know if you're going to like them. Yep. Aw, thank you, Gary. What else? Wow. This person loves you. This is not like a, well, you know, it kind of works out, so I'm going to see if like marriage works out. This is someone who's like, no, I think you are incredible. You have gone through a lot and maintained this joie de vivre. They admire you and they love you. They want this new beginning with you. They're looking forward to, maybe it's buying a house or moving somewhere with you or moving in with you. But this is someone who's very much so focused on the future and who you are right now, even if there are stories from like your high school years that your family wants to share to kind of make you seem a little bit weird. I don't think that it's going to be something that dissuades this person from wanting to be with you long term. It's just something that helps them understand how much you had to go through on your own or what you've been willing to do in order to change your life or avoid repeating certain patterns of your family. All right, let's get a few from the Voyage of the Soul. What else do we have? That's a good call, Baby Yoda. All right, what else do we have? We have vivid, bloom, and alive. Wow, what a combination. These are all cards that talk about a new chapter or things going to a much happier situation. I do feel like this is a very positive, healthy connection. This love relationship seems to be very supportive and people who are trying to communicate. And it makes, I think, both people feel a little bit more alive or excited, looking forward to the possibilities that they have. I do feel like there's a desire to travel. Of course, that could be the honeymoon that somebody is planning, but there is a lot of happiness associated with this love connection, and it looks like someone views you as their dream partner. It doesn't mean that your family has to be perfect in their mind. It's just like, we just got to be able to handle things as a team, and you've already demonstrated, or you're about to, that that's the approach that you take naturally. So this is someone who feels like you are like a wish fulfillment for them, someone who when they think about you, they have like heart palpitations or like they get a little bit nervous. Maybe even wonder how it is that they got so lucky to, you know, convince you to marry them. But very sweet energy. Yeah, this is someone who's saying, look, you know, times can be difficult, but you didn't stop, you didn't get stuck, you kept moving forward. They just, I feel like they just admire you more because of knowing the backstory or the background, the things that you went through before you met this person. All right, this is What's the News? What else do we have? Hello, Zats. How's it going? So we have fed up, over it, not having it, frustrated. Light bulb moment, sudden realization, feeling inspired, insightful awareness. And SOS, distress, act with urgency, assistance needed. So this could be someone who realizes, I could give my family the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to go and introduce my soon-to-be spouse to my family. And if they get out of hand, then we can just leave, or I may end up blocking or not inviting someone to the wedding. So I do feel like if there is a fight or somebody who's trying to be rather contentious, trying to kind of like egg someone on or get them into a frustrated situation, then I feel like this partner is like, don't give in to that temptation. They just want you to get all uppity or get stressed out. Instead, we can just leave. So I feel like that's a pretty decent plan. You know, like we have certain boundaries, and if somebody doesn't want to be respectful of those boundaries, then you can just remove yourself from the situation. Yeah, because it does feel like there's a two-faced family member here. One day they might be like smiling in your face, or 1 minute they might be smiling in your face, and then the next they're like trying to find a way to make you feel real small. And I do feel like there could be some like higher tensions than normal because someone's going through some financial issues, and that might make them feel like they need to, you know, show that they're better than other people. Not a very good approach. But I do think that you're mostly successful when you just don't respond to the person who likes to get under your skin. Whether this is a parent or a sibling, maybe it's more like a cousin or an aunt or an uncle or something. But this is saying when you don't give them that satisfaction of getting you upset or angry or finding ways to say mean things, and instead you just kind of say, okay, well, I think we have to go now. It's gonna help you to avoid somebody's mood, basically, because I feel like they make everyone tiptoe around their mood. All right, where are we at? We're just about at 30. I'm gonna grab a few from A Gamer's Ways, and then we will start on those personal questions, okay? Thank you for liking and subscribing, by the way. I love it when you say that, Rachel. All right, what else do we have? Bounty. Some players complete a bounty for the coins. Some do it for the XP. You do it for justice. No matter what kind of locale you're exploring, The scales will be balanced in your wake. I think this is the partner. The one that the Queen of Pentacles is a little bit nervous to tell everything about their family to, the one that they're engaged to most likely. This is somebody who's like, that's okay. I'm not going to be taking any bait or starting any arguments, but I am going to be, defending the person that I love. So if we don't want to be getting into any arguments, then probably the best plan is if things escalate past a certain point, then we just remove ourselves from that environment, right? Hey, Nasdaq, how are you doing? Hello, Inger, what's up? So we've got the bonus level and the main character cards. Bonus level is a good one. So this says, the bonus level is a relic of a bygone era. A whole section of the map full of coins. Only those who pass the developer's hidden test are deemed worthy of receiving this bounty. That's interesting because we had bounty as the first card, right? Be sure to give thanks for this abundance. So yeah, sometimes abundance isn't financial. Sometimes it is having the people that you can trust or love around you. And I do think that we have this Queen of Pentacles looking at the future in a much more hopeful way than they had in the past, in large part due to this connection or this relationship that they have, where they feel very understood and supported by this person and return that energy. There is no question as to why you were chosen for leadership on this mission. You know the value of being fierce in all pursuits, be that loyalty and compassion or competence and tenacity. A well-rounded warrior. So the partner of this Queen of Pentacles just looks at the, person they're about to marry and sees somebody who's been able to overcome difficulty and still remain true to their character or still have the capacity to love and be loving. So I think it's just a matter of more respect being accrued, or they feel like, I just love you all the more, basically. So we have character creator and negative leg. You have all of the tools you need to create your vision. Nobody can tell you who you are meant to be. Do not let the past hold you to any former version of yourself. To level up is to change. Now, how perfect is that, considering we're talking about somebody who's saying, here's my family. They're probably going to make fun of me. They're probably going to make you question who I used to be. This is saying you know who you are. It shouldn't be possible, but your internet speeds seem to allow you to download information on situations before they happen. I hope you're using this sci-fi wizard tech for forces of good. So if you ever saw the show Early Edition, this dude, the dude from Friday Night Lights, can't remember his name, he would get the newspaper one day early and then he would go fight crime. He would go make sure like things ended up better than what the newspaper had predicted. This is like that Queen of Pentacles who has to introduce their family that they're not super comfortable introducing to people. I do feel like they realize that this could go poorly if we don't have this conversation ahead of time. And even though it wasn't easy to have this conversation, there's a huge weight lifted off their shoulders when they're able to say, here's what I'm worried about. And I hope it won't like cause some big argument, or I don't want things to get out of hand and I don't want to lose you. But because they have the forethought, or because they know it's important to have this conversation, I feel like everything with the family goes literally as well as it possibly could, because these two really do look out for each other and there's a lot of love between the two of them. So I like that. All right, let's switch to the personal questions. We've got Baker up first and then James. This is the Meta Muse Tarot. We've got, will I ever find true love and be married to them? Will Baker ever find true love and be married to that person? So this seems to be saying that in the current location, you do a disservice to yourself. So it's like the opportunity is elsewhere and you're looking within this like sphere right here, right? So you have to cast a wider net in order to have that actually happen. What else? Three of Cups in the reverse. Two of Swords in the reverse, the Hermit in the reverse. You find your true love and have the ability to actually live a life with them when you do something that seems to be against the wishes of others. So it's like everybody tells you don't leave or don't move away or don't go to that school or don't pursue that career. I feel like you have to set out on your own and do something rather kind of shockingly independent. And then that enables you to meet this true love, whether that's a change of address or something more complicated like education or a different job. I do feel like it's something where you would have a number of people that are like, well, why are you doing all that? That's a lot of effort. It's because the true love that I think you are supposed to be encountering is not going to be where you currently are. Yes, trust your own guts. Hello, Frog Lover. How are you doing? Hello, Danny. What's up? I did not. My bad. Was it? Let me scroll up. Oh, can you please tell me a little bit about them? Have kids. Does this person have any kids? No. Do they want to have kids? Yes. So this is someone who's waiting for the right partner, but they do like the idea of having a family. I feel like 4 or fewer, which is probably most people. 9 of Wands. This is somebody who's a little bit more reserved personality-wise. Somebody who is healed from a pretty difficult childhood. What else? And with the 6 of Pentacles, I do feel like this is going to be somebody who gives you a little bit of a gift. I'm not going to say like, here's like a $10,000 watch, you know, let's date or something. But I feel like it's a cute little thing like, here's this flower that I found outside. I thought you might like it. There's something kind of sweet that this person does. But this is all predicated upon you leaving where you currently are when the time is right for you. But it's not going to, it doesn't seem to be possible where you currently are. Matt would like to know, should I ask Ellen to try out? Do you have an Ouija board? What are you doing? I don't recommend using those, just to be very clear. I'm guessing Alan of Troy is a nickname for someone else, or you're just being funnies. Any description of my true love? Let me get, if you don't mind, James, I'm going to finish up Baker's. Can you give me a description of my true love? What is the description of Baker's true love, please? Ace of Cups, Knight of Pentacles, 7 of Wands, 4 of Pentacles in the reverse, 10 of Pentacles in the reverse. I do feel like this is someone who's had a rather solitary life or doesn't have a lot of close connections family-wise. May have grown up, you know, kind of challenged as far as financial security, felt a little bit starved for attention perhaps. But this is also someone who, like, if there is a possibility to improve a situation, they take advantage of that. So I do think that this is someone who you could argue has like pulled themselves up by their bootstraps, right? This is somebody who, despite all odds, they've been able to create a pretty decent life for themselves, but they were not given very much help from the people who should have been helping them. So Lovers, King of Swords in the reverse. This person has not had a very good example as far as how romantic and like trusting relationships go. But this is somebody who takes note on what they don't want to be like. So I guess that's saying like they did the best with what example they have. But this is someone who wants to have that compassionate companionship. King of Cups in the reverse. The reason you probably have not met this person yet is they are still healing from a problem, I believe, with their father. Something that may have impacted their own confidence or self-worth. And once they deal with that, and once we have some changes over on your side, then I think there's a better chance that the two of you would run into each other. But the fact that you said, will you meet the true love and marry them, that requires a little bit more healing than just the meeting initially, right? Yeah, it's true. Okay, so let's move on to James. And I think we will use the Santa Muerte for you, James. Do they think my sense of humor is a bit too much? Do they think James' sense of humor is a bit too much? No. I think this is somebody who appreciates dark humor, or someone who's a bit more creative with it. But I do feel like King of Pentacles in the reverse, Seven of Pentacles, it could be more so about time and place or frequency. So maybe just like do what you can as far as reading the reactions. There may need to be a little bit more of like throw in a little bit more positivity, or throw in something that is a little bit more conversational, that kind of thing. But I don't think the humor itself is bothersome. Maybe it's, you know, can customers hear? Oh, I have so many funny stories about someone talking in hospitality and not realizing that a customer could hear them. Hello, Marilyn. How are you doing? So we have 8 of Cups and 6 of Swords. Yeah, I feel like this is just somebody who's like, I don't necessarily have a problem with your sense of humor, but we just have to make sure that we're choosing the right time or place for that. So don't you worry, James. Just a little tweaking on that. Okay, so we're going to see whether or not Matt should ask out Helena Troy. Anyone want to place a bet on whether or not the death card comes out? All right, what else do we have? Wait, did I miss something? Okay, I did do that. Okay, good. Not the Helen of Troy. All right, that's fair. That's fair. Should Matt ask her out? This says no. This is not a good time. I do feel like there is somebody else that your Helen of Troy is talking to. We have Strength and the 7 of Wands. This is saying choose the right time. You'll get some sort of intuitive cue that lets you know that maybe this talking stage or whatever it is may have ended. But as of right now, it seems like perhaps Helen of Troy is otherwise engaged. But there could be a situation in the near future where then that's no longer true. And I feel like you would notice something changes for that. So I saw the 2 other ones after, did the description. Oh, where do I meet? I'm sorry, guys. Okay, hold on. Matt, I hope you feel satisfied with that one. It's just a matter of timing. And we have the Ace of Wands in the reverse. So you may notice a change in someone's physical appearance. Helen of Troy, maybe there's just a little change from regular patterns that might help you understand when this has changed. Okay, so we have where do I meet the true love? Baker, I will caution you just a little bit. I'm going to read for it, but I will caution you a little bit on getting too precise on things that are still very much so in development, because people have healing to do, as you have, you know, probably 3,000 decisions that you need to make before you meet this true love. So I will ask what kind of situation, but just keep in mind that, you know, like as of right now, I have no plans, to go anywhere today. But if I find out that the streets are actually pretty legit, then I might venture out for some Dr. Pepper. Things like that can alter, right? All right, what does Baker need to know about where the true love and Baker would meet? We have the Star, a Ten of Cups, Knight of Swords, and the Empress. So this feels to me like there would be some sort of family or close friend connection. So this could be going to somebody's like anniversary party or somebody's birthday party, maybe just going to, you know, like a happy hour. But I do feel like it's in celebration of someone else. Queen of Pentacles, Ace of Swords in the reverse, and the Hierophant in the reverse. Yeah, this feels to me like it's a little bit of a party, and you may not hear about it until kind of last minute, but there's something that tells you that you should go. Is there an alternate version of this if there are some, you know, diversions along the path? Sun in the reverse. If someone doesn't heal from the situation, if they delay the path that they're supposed to be on, or they don't, you know, get into position, right? Like if you have to move or if you have to get a different job, then it gets kind of delayed or possibly doesn't happen. So it's not so much that there's too many variations on how you would meet this person. It's more so if the things happen that are supposed to happen, that's how you would meet. But there are still some things that could potentially fall through on their side or your side as far as addressing that personal healing and making the decisions that are right for you or right for them, right? Did I say hello to Lemonade? Hello, Pam. How are you doing? I do not sense that it would be this year, Baker, because there is quite a lot that needs to be taking place. Yeah, I feel like there's a focus on, it's like if you move into a new place, you have to like settle in, like where do the things go in the kitchen? What artwork goes on the walls? Do I need to change anything as far as like the bathroom? Do I need to add a shelf or something? There's steps being taken to get to that point. Oh, does that work? Let me just get a little bit else or a little bit more. How long would it take? Two of Cups, King of Swords in the reverse, Knight of Cups in the reverse. The thing is, we can't rush this. I feel like there's a temptation here for you to try to draw this in this year. If you draw this person, if you manifest this person in this year, it would be somebody who you would not want to date. This is somebody who is doing some introspection and learning more about who they are and how they want to be in relationships. King of Cups came out sideways, so not this year. Chariot in the reverse does not need to be rushed because this person hasn't learned their lesson regarding a long-term relationship or how to act within that. Yeah, so if you were to date or meet this person this year, it would be a short like burst of passion, and then it wouldn't have that long-term or that longevity, or you might even not meet that person. If you give this the time that it deserves, kind of like having the patience to heat up leftover pizza in the oven as opposed to in the microwave, then you have a very quality relationship. But right now, this person is not quite there. They are a half-cooked burrito. Hello, Laughlin. How are you doing? All right, I'm going to leave it there. I love you all. Thank you for the likes. Thank you for the subscribes. Thank you for checking out my candles on Etsy. And thank you for hyping